Alright, let's see how serious I can take this video. Hey guys, it's me Miranda, and today I'm going to be filming my... oh god, this is going to be fun. Hey guys, it's me Miranda, and today I'm going to be filming my October wrap-up video. Okay, I can't get through more than 15 seconds of that, but hey guys, happy Halloween, and I am obviously dressing up as Miranda. I thought it'd be super fun to dress up as Miranda because I love Miranda and I love Colleen, who is Miranda, and so this is my Halloween costume. I hope you guys are having a happy Halloween. Let me know what you wore for Halloween and how much candy you scored. If you scored any candy, I'm going to be getting candy the day after Halloween when it's all on sale, but if you scored Halloween candy, let me know if you got this much, because that's how much I would have scored if I went trick-or-treating like this. So okay, so let's just get started. Oh, obviously I'm doing my wrap-up video. Did I already say that? I said that as Miranda. Okay. Yeah, so I read quite a few books this month. I would want to say it's a little bit over 10 books. I need to get my Goodreads open on my phone because some of these books I do not have physical copies of. So yeah, let's just jump into the books that I read this month, and I had a great reading month, let me just say that, because it was good. It was great. It was great. First book that I read this month was Red Seas Under Red Skies by Scott Lynch. This is the second book in the Gentleman Bastard series, second book to Lies of Locke Lamora, and it was phenomenal. I read this with Sana and Chris and Lindsay, and it was so much fun. We had just such a ball. It's continuing the story from Locke Lamora, and Locke Lamora is this thief that lives in this city called Camor, and he pulls these very large heists and against noblemen. And it's all about his story and about the betrayal and the like redemption that goes on for him and things like that. Very good series, very, very good book. This one has an element of pirates, which was awesome to read about. I absolutely loved it. It was so good. And I ended up giving this a 5 out of 5 stars. It was friggin' awesome. And we're going to be reading Republic of Thieves in December, so holla back, yo. The next book that I read this month was a graphic novel, and that is Amulet by you know, the guy who reads it, Kabushi. This is the last installment of, not the last installment, whoa Sarah, calm down. This is the last book that's out in this Amulet series. This is the one that just came out in, oh, I want to say it came out in like July or something along those lines. Somewhere around there. July, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, I finally got to it. It was really good. I think I gave this a 4 stars or 5 stars. I really did enjoy it. I love this series. The art in this is just phenomenal. Let me get you a piece of art that is just awesome. See, it's super cool, super awesome. But yes, I love the color scheme of this one. It was very cool and dark and just grim, and I'm really excited to see where the series goes from here. I think there's going to be 10 books in the series if I'm not mistaken, so I'm really excited to get onto those, even though I know it's going to take forever for them to come out, but whatever. I can't take myself seriously. The next book that I read was Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. This is a young adult paranormal fantasy book, and it focuses on Karu, and she lives in this city of Prague. She lives in Prague, and she has this weird talent where she's a really good drawer, and she draws this family of monsters, or chimera, and they're actually alive, and they're her real family, and they raised her. So it's very interesting, very cool to read about. I believe I gave this book a 4 stars. Yep, I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I really did enjoy it, and if you can hear my dogs barking, I apologize. Are you kidding me? Shut up! Stop talking when I'm talking. God. Anyway, I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars, and I really enjoyed it. It was good for a YA fantasy novel. Really interesting. Some cool angels and demons aspects to it, but I nitpicked a few things. I did a full review, so I don't know why I'm talking about it so much, and I'll link that down below. But I did enjoy it, and I'd recommend it if you like YA and if you want to get your feet wet in the YA fantasy genre, because this is light YA fantasy and it's very good. Next book that I read this month was Succubus Blues by Rochelle Mead. This is a adult paranormal urban fantasy about this girl, Georgia, and she is a succubus, and it's all about her story, and I gave this book a 3.5 stars. I didn't necessarily connect with any of the characters. The story was cool, it was entertaining, but it wasn't my favorite thing in the world. The romance fell a little short for me, and I just didn't, overall, I wasn't highly impressed with it. I do plan on continuing with the series, but yeah, it just wasn't my cup of tea. But if you like urban fantasies and you like Michelle Mead's Vampire Academy, I'd highly recommend it because it has that same humor. It's a little more adult, but it's really good and fun, and yeah, I do recommend it if you like urban fantasy or paranormal fantasy. The next book that I read this month was Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. I'll also have a review up for this, by the way. But this book is about these 4 characters. 2 of them are princesses and they're sisters, a god king and this guy named Lightsong, who's also a god. And it's about their story in this world. The main character, Serene, has to go and marry the god king, and you find out a lot about the god king and what's actually going on in this city, and she's from a different city. And this, I can already tell you, this explanation is like really stupid, so that wasn't Miranda at all, that was me being dumb. Yeah, this explanation is not good. But anyway, basically there's this magic system as well, and it's called breath, and like you can take other people's breaths. Everybody has a breath, and you can do cool things, animate objects with it, and the like. I'm not very good at explaining the story. It's all explained in my review, and I'll link that down below if it's up. I don't know if it'll be up yet. Probably won't be up, but it will be up sometime soon. But yeah, I read this with Chris and Lindsay, and kind of with Sana. Sana had already read it, but she was joining in our fun, and we really did enjoy it. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. I love Brandon Sanderson, love everything he writes. This has a lot of religious intrigue in it and political intrigue, and it was very fun to read. So I really did enjoy it, and yeah, I highly recommend it if you like fantasy, if you like Brandon Sanderson. It does have Cosmere stuff in it, actually more than I was expecting, and so yeah, I highly recommend if you want to get into Brandon's Cosmere as well. The next book that I read this month was Coldest in Coldtown. I think this was the next one, let's check. I read Coldest in Coldtown by Holly Black. This is a YA paranormal dystopian-esque book, and it focuses around this main character, and she lives in this world where there's vampires, and vampires are well known, and they're now quarantined into these places called Coldtowns. And it's basically just her story about what happens with these vampires and why she has to go to a cold town. And yeah, so this one I gave a 3.5 stars. I read it with Lindsay as well, and we had some really big problems with it. I did not enjoy the bulk of the story. I just did not connect with the characters. I did not really feel anything for them. I did not really care for the story, and overall it just wasn't my cup of tea. If you like YA that's a little more dark, a little more along the lines of Immortal Rules by Julie Kagawa, I'd highly recommend this because it definitely is reminiscent of that. To me, it just wasn't my cup of tea. I don't do like diseases and sickness and things like that, which is what they built up this vampire thing to be, and I just don't like that type of thing. It definitely freaks me out. So not my cup of tea, but if you do like YA dystopians with paranormal, and I'd highly recommend it. Holly Black has a very interesting way of writing. I wouldn't say her writing style is bad, but it's not fully connectable, but overall it was alright. 3.5 stars. The next book that I read this month was, the next one that I read this month was a romance novel, and it's called Skin in the Game by Jackie Barbosa, and this is the first book in her play action series, and I will talk more about this when I do a recent reads and romance, but it's an adult romance novel. It's a Braza novel from Entangled. I really love those novels, and yeah, it was good. I gave it a 4 stars. I would recommend if you like adult romance with football in it, because Sarah's a little bit obsessed with football right now because it's football season, so I wanted to read a book with romance and football in it, so that's why I read that one. The next book that I read this month was Outlander by Brandon Sanderson. This is another standalone book, and this is the last Cosmere novel. Actually, that's a lie because it's 12 Emperor's Soul, but this is the last. This is almost my very last Brandon Sanderson novel. All I have left is Emperor's Soul and Legion, which are 2 novellas that Emperor's Soul goes on with the Cosmere, and then also I have The Rhythmatist to read yet, but that doesn't, that's like a whole different thing. That's not part of the Cosmere, but The Elantris is part of the Cosmere, and I really enjoyed this book. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. It is about the city of Elantris and how it used to be this thriving, beautiful city with magic and all of these cruel things, and then one day everybody in Elantris turns into these really sick, like really, they describe them as like dead. It's kind of like zombies, except for they're just different. They're more humble than zombies. They're not as, I don't know how to explain it. To me it didn't seem like a zombie, but Brandon said that in the criteria of what a zombie is, it could technically be a zombie. But anyway, so it's about these Elantrians and how they just shriveled up and became nothing, and how everybody who revered them as gods rose against them and created their own society and their own hierarchy, and how it was just kind of turned into a whole different city and a whole different religious system and all of the things like that. I love the politicalness of this story. I will say it did drag on a little bit and it was a little bit long, but overall I really did like it. It was a very interesting read. I'm going into it knowing that there's not any magic in it and that there isn't, and it's full of politics and religion-based stuff, which is very strong themes in Brandon Sanderson's stories. I really did like it. I gave it, like I said, a 5 out of 5 stars, and yeah, I think overall it was really, really good. And I also read this with Sana and we both enjoyed it, so that was awesome. The next book of the month, the next book that I read this month is probably my favorite of the month, and that was Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. I'll have a review of this up soon. This book I gave a 5 out of 5 stars. It is so good. It is about Claire. If you don't already know what it's about Claire, and she gets thrust, she's in 1945, she gets thrust back 200 years and she has to try to get back to her home and what's going on there and stuff like that. That's a horrible explanation, but it's full of romance and just political things, and history is so good. Are you kidding me, right? God, don't ride your motorcycle when I'm filming a video. Yeah, this is just full of just awesome things, and I really did like it. Gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, like I said, and I'll have my review up for it soon. The next book that I read this month was The Blade Itself by Jo Abercrombie. I read this with Lindsay. This is the second book in the First Law trilogy, and this one follows all the same characters and their story and their struggles to overthrow this king and get through this war that's going on between them and the North. And it's very hard to explain, and I'm not going to explain any further than that. I did a review on the first book. I don't know if I'm going to do a review on this one. This one was, I wouldn't say it fell into the second book syndrome, but it definitely was a little bit longer and drawn out than I would have liked. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. Jo Abercrombie has a very subtle way of writing, and it's very slow and meticulous and just very something that you just kind of have to follow. You just go with the flow. There's no reading into, there's no trying to figure it out. You just really have to go with the flow, and sometimes I enjoy that, sometimes I don't. This month I just don't think I was in the mood for that, so it did drag on for me, but overall I think Jo Abercrombie has an awesome way of writing. He's got great storytelling from dark fantasy, and it's about changing all of the things that you think of fantasy and turning them into something different, and I think that it was really cool, the things that he did, and yeah, I can't wait to get on to the next one. Like I said, 4 out of 5 stars. Alright, and the last book that I read this month was Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. This is Lindsay's pick of the month for me. This was a awesome read. I've already watched the movie. I watched the movie like my freshman year of high school, so I did know what to expect going into it. I knew it was going to be awesome and really fun anyway, but it was so much better than what I was expecting. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. Just the way Dan Brown writes is so just like enthralling, like you're in the story, and it's so fast paced and it's just crazy. It took me a while to get through this because I was reading Outlander at the same time, and I really just wanted to read Outlander, but I really did enjoy this. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. Highly recommend. It was my very first thriller novel, so that was really fun, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. Cannot wait to pick up more Dan Brown. Alright guys, that's all I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below what books you guys have read this month. If you've done a wrap up, link it down below and I'll go watch it. Let me know, like I said, what you guys were for Halloween, and I think that's all I really have to say for this video. I'll link all my reviews down below and the like, and I hope you guys are doing well. Have a safe and happy Halloween, and I will see you tomorrow with my wrap up, and it'll be as Miranda. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Bye!